welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanne, so thank you for joining me. I alluded in my previous video about Boris Johnson and Scott Morrison, or ScoMo, as we like to call him, having a discussion about the Ashes. Now, the Ashes is an event between England and Australia over a game of cricket. So there is drama. It's due in Australia this year, but we've still got Victoria and New South Wales, the two biggest states, with the two biggest attending crowds and stadiums, Boxing Day and New Year's Day, test matches to be played. At this stage, there's been no roadmap about sporting events being in either state ones. But it says Scott Morrison was unflinching when quizzed whether the families of England's cricketers would be permitted to enter Australia for the Ashes. Scott Morrison has emphatically declared he would do no special deals to allow families of travelling England cricketers entry into Australia. As it stands, only players can come. Now, the grand final is in Perth this weekend. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanne and thank you for joining me. Well, I talked about in my previous video about ScoMo, Scott Morrison, and Boris Johnson having a chat about the cricket because the Ashes is due to be played in Australia. The two big matches really are Boxing Day Test match at the MCG and the New Year's Test in Sydney. Now, at the moment, New South Wales and Victoria are still in lockdown and there's not been anything or any information regarding how those matches are going to play. But at the moment, only the players are allowed to attend. Now, the AFL Grand Final is in Perth this weekend and they have only been allowed to have players as well, and all the players have had to quarantine on their own. So that is the standard at the moment around the country where families cannot currently join their partners or the players. So they're in a bubble. So it says Prime Minister Scott Morrison has emphatically declared he would not do any special deals to allow the families of travelling English cricketers into Australia for the Ashes. As it stands, only the players will be permitted entry into Australia, but families and players will not be able to come. Now, they're usually here before Christmas and they're usually here for after. So they're here for a good deal of time. With the English team set to arrive on Australian shores in November, a number of touring cricketers may opt out of the tour due to the lengthy period of time they could be away from their loved ones. So from November, December, January. So it's about 12 weeks. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson even revealed discussions had been held with Mr Morrison regarding the matter, but had not received any assurances. I raised the Ashes with Morrison and he said they were going to do their best for the families. He totally got the point for the cricketers. It is very tough to ask people to be away from their families over Christmas. However, Morrison seemingly shot down any hopes for family members' partners to receive special exemption to travel to Australia, as he sticks to the national plan for international borders to open once 80% of the nation, aged 16 and over, is fully vaccinated. I'd love to see the Ashes go ahead. As I shared with Boris last night, Mr Morrison told reporters in Washington. But there's no special deals there because what we're looking is to have vaccinated people being able to travel. I don't see a great deal of difference in skilled workers or students who will be able to come to Australia when you reach those vaccination rates. Those who are coming for the purposes when it comes to their profession, which is playing cricket, I don't see the difference between that and someone who's coming as a skilled and qualified engineer or someone who's coming to be ready for study. Those in the English camp may point to the fact the families of the Indian cricket team was granted exemptions in 2020 as a sign of hope. But with just months to go before England team is due to fly to Australia, the clock is ticking. The situation becomes even trickier when the number of overseas Australians trying to get back into the country is factored in. So there are limits as to how many people can come into Australia from overseas. And so they actually have to factor the cricketers into those numbers. Now, I heard something this morning on the ABC. I was listening to ABC this morning that said that there are people that are booked up as far as March next year, got seats booked up until March next year, trying to get back in. So it says the first test of the Ashes begins on December 8 at the Gabba, and Australia looks to retain the urn for the third consecutive series. So question, should there be exemptions made for families of the cricketers coming over for a lengthy period of time? What's your opinion on that? I can understand them wanting to come because it is a long time away. However, many of us in our own country have not been able to see our loved ones. I mean, I'm 6 or 7 weeks into a lockdown. New South Wales have been locked down for longer than that. So we've not been able to see our loved ones or our families either. So there's, in some ways, I don't have a lot of sympathy because of that fact. We were able to get out of lockdown for Christmas last year, and they're still looking at doing that for this Christmas this year. But I'd be interested to see what you think. And I hope that there's a crowd at the Ashes this year. Anyway, thank you for watching.